countdown went out. Hold on.
Give it a minute.
And yes, we are live.
Yeah, go back so we don't have to deal with the lag.
Hold on.
Give it a minute. We don't have to mute that.
And yes, we are live.
Yeah, go back so we don't have to deal with the lag.
Hold. So yeah, I just closed the YouTube window on the computer.
We'll take a few minutes to let everybody get here. Hopefully somebody will show up and we'll see them in the chat. So they can see. I'm having my rice and chicken.
Well, it says one was watching.
They closed out. That was you. That was you watching. And they closed.
We don't want to view this guy.
We don't want to see it. I'm having my chicken and rice for the
two bald-headed guys is too much. We're out.
Yeah.
What I'm here at.
It's too much sexiness.
I don't know if I go any shorter. I'm gonna look like you guys.
This is true.
Well, I just got a notification saying live on YouTube, so
yeah.
Maybe I'll get out then.
So technically, this is your first live broadcast.
It is, yes. Thanks for bringing that up.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah,
no.
I can really relate to the zero audience. So
wait a minute. Are you fine?
Yeah.
Well, someone has popped in, I hope.
We got this whole thing is just proof of life for Steve. You just got to hold up like today's paper and stuff.
How are you guys doing in the closed, confined area, stuck in there together? Are you all good?
No.
Yeah. You know, I have found that choosing to be alone is very different than being told to be alone.
And
yeah.
You know?
I'm an introvert at heart. Couch potato, the whole nine. When I'm not at work, I want to just be home. And then somebody tells me I can't be home or I have to be home.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Like making all kinds of plans. We got our first comment. What's up, David?
Well, David, not much. We're just getting ready.
Hoping people will show up, and I'm eating chicken and rice with chopsticks in celebration of the Chinese virus.
Yeah. You know, the issue is I think Bear's having his live update right now or something. Isn't he?
Yeah, he went live about an hour ago. Sometimes he goes for an hour or two, so we may lose a few people to him, but not a big deal.
So we need to say hi to people on the internet with chat.
So we got David Snow. How you doing, man? And someone else, say hi.
Hello, someone else.
It's over now.
Over now.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, Bears? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should I tell them about my Danny?
You're not supposed to have it playing in the background.
So, should I tell them about my dumb move little under a week and a half ago?
Story time with Steve. Go ahead.
Okay, so, and that's my Facebook window. I'm gonna have to log out of that.
Yeah, close that one.
Yeah. How should I put this nicely?
You shouldn't.
I shouldn't. Yeah, there's I'm actually absolutely self-quarantining for a few more days. Some of you may have seen the post about the young lady that I've been helping get ready for her black belt test. Yeah, one of her family members tested positive.
Oh boy.
And the last time I was training with her was
a week ago,
Thursday the 12th. So yeah, I've got till this coming Thursday to
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Both of her parents tested positive for it.
I wasn't going to do that.
You know, groups of 10 or less doesn't matter if the group of one has it. You know,
Exactly.
I mean,
So we're about to put Steve down just to protect the family.
send him to the other property.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I volunteered to go, but yeah. Fairy Dust, welcome. Tony John, hey, good to see you.
We're getting people in. So,
All right.
I'm not going to say why people over there are so skinny, because it's really, really hard to eat a meal like this.
You're making me hungry. I mean,
Good. We're trying to get used to eating more rice and beans because,
you got a ton of it. Yeah. I understand that. Yeah, there's staples. That, and man, I've got wheat for miles. I mean, good grief, but it's a staple. So
Yeah.
So we're eating it. We're trying to get used to eating it more often, and I'm going to sort of say it's kind of bland. I like my sushi better. All right, I'll put it down. We'll start talking about the book.
So I did not review the previous video and I don't remember exactly what the criteria for the giveaway for this particular book was. And I'm not even sure we're going to be able to ship it out because Corona.
Oh, we're totally going to be able to ship it out. We'll figure out some way, even if we have to wait a little while. But what it is can you get the other one? This is our copy. We bookmarked it and everything else of How to Survive in the World as We Know It. And we got a second copy.
Can you slide that through the screen to me? Because all I've got
is all right. Perfect. All right, let's read together now.
Yeah, here we go.
Where'd it go? So this is the book that we've been reading. Right, we've got an echo going. Anybody else hearing that? Or is that just ours?
I can hear you echoing a little bit, yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's got some kind of feedback going. That's going to get annoying real quick.
I don't know. I shut down everything else.
You're not doing that. You talk.
This is a test. This is only a test. For
No.
right now, anyway. Any echo?
No.
That's weird. Well, it sounded better last time you said something. I didn't hear much.
Okay.
I
don't know what's causing that.
I think it's just you.
It's not me.
Got the book, but honestly haven't read it yet. Bumping up my preps and getting the garden planned. Pretty muffled on my end. Okay, let's try something. We lean in closer.
No, that
makes it worse. Give me 1 second. I'm going to remove myself and then come back in.
Okay. I am full screen here. This is not good. Where are the hosts?
Oh, no. See, we're over to Ozarks Prepared.
Oh, oh, by the way, let's do an introduction right quick. And guys are not that, just apologize on the audio. I don't know what's going on with that. Ozarks Prepared, can you do a quick introduction?
You bet. Well, I'm Rick with Ozarks Prepared. I've been actually preparing for like 25 years now. And it's everybody who has been going crazy the last week. It's the same things we've been talking about for years. So while they're out running crazy, we're just sitting here having a live stream talking about, how preparedness can help you get through this. You don't have to worry about the last few seconds. When they release something, you're good. So if you have to go into mandatory quarantine, you don't have to go to the store first. So I'm really happy to be here with you guys and talk with this book. It's a good one.
Definitely. Somebody said it sounded better when we lean in. So let's all lean in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been following Ozarks for a while. Talking to them. I'm so sorry. I'm having to go get a mic to see if that will help. Microphone. I'm gonna go grab the mic. You talk. I'll be right back.
Okay. Now Where did we first run across each other? I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. I think I watched one of your videos and replied to it, and I think that's what started it all. I believe
That could be. And then we went over and watched a couple of years, and I was like, this is good material. Because I'm not a bushcrafter. That's my one of my big weak areas, and so I've been learning a lot of stuff from you.
I still got that echo. I don't know what else to do. Added a mic. It's so weird. You've never had
it was fine a minute ago.
I know, it was weird.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not picking up much on my end on the echo, so I don't know.
I hope it doesn't bother anybody too much if they turn off. So
well, you sound fine. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave the screen and let you take it away.
Oh boy!
No pressure.
Right. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so we are reviewing, like we said, How to Survive the End of the World as You Know It by James Westley Rowels. I really do like his fictional stuff. I've read a lot of his fiction series, but this is more of a how-to book. And as a reference book to keep in your prepper library, it is definitely one of the ones you have to have. God, that echo is so crazy. Ugh. Okay. I wonder if we turn our volume down, if it'll help.
Did it help?
Tell me if that helps. If I turned our volume down, if it's an echo.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm picking up more an echo on you than Steve, so I don't know.
That's maybe because I've got the sultry voice.
It's the vibe. It's the vibe. There's a few hand signals I recognize, but not mostly.
Yeah. You're gonna get demonetized from sign language.
Probably.
Okay.
So Tony John says it's better when we lean in again. I'm going to keep trying that, but I don't know.
I think it's just Steve's sultry voice. Maybe if I get really deep like him, and it won't echo as much.
I'll do my Barry White impression. Hey, baby.
Oh, wow. Yes. How about that?
Well, Fairy Dust thought it helped a lot. EH, welcome.
Free Spirits here.
Free Spirits here, yes. So, the book. Well, let's actually do what we're doing. Even though rapping and hanging out is cool too.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's, like we said, it's pretty much a how-to book. I like the list. I like how he goes subject to subject, topic to topic. What are you doing?
I'm playing with the audio. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Sorry, give me just a minute. I'm playing.
Try that one. Hang on. Try now. Can you hear us now?
I can't hear you. That seems to be a little bit more echoey.
More echoey? Mm-hmm. Oh, good Lord.
I don't know. What's everybody in the chat? Can you guys, are you hearing an echo?
I love technical difficulties. They're so much fun. All right, you talk. I want to play with the audio.
Well, I think you just switched mics.
I did.
Yeah, so anyway. Okay, it is there. Try.
That's so bad. I'm making it worse.
Let's see here.
So what we're going to do is we're going to destroy technology and build a moon base.
You know what it could be? It could be us picking up ourselves coming from his camera. Like, if we're broadcasting. Could you do me a huge favor? Do you have any headphones?
Or do we?
I do. Finding them might be a challenge. Let's see. I will get. Look at this.
I got them over there.
I got them. Let's try. Let's see if this works.
I don't know.
It may or may not.
I'm trying to be the technical minded one. Oh, that's worse. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Let's see here.
It sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown.
Okay.
Did that work?
Did that work?
I'm not hearing an echo.
Okay.
Success.
So basically what it is the MacBook's microphone is so sensitive.
It was picking up
It's picking up
yours.
stuff off of your computer that we can't hear.
I got you. So it was all my fault. What you're saying?
Oh, no.
No, it's technology. What can you say?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's why you always see people with headphones on in live streams. I just thought about that. So
Yeah,
Oh.
good call.
yes, everybody else is saying it's
Good.
on. Okay, we can talk about the book now that the technical difficulties are down.
Well, you've been reading it recently. What was your thoughts in the beginning of the book?
I thought information and a lot of good lists that are pertinent in a lot of situations. The one thing that stood out to me is if it was a new prepper reading this, they would be really overwhelmed because, I've been prepping for 20 years and I'm not near the level of everything he was saying. There's just way too much. So, I mean, there's information for new preppers and then seasoned preppers. So, and that aspect I thought was really good.
Yeah, we thought the same thing. I mean, it's a lot of information. It's kind of trying to take a sip out of a fire hydrant, where you're just getting blasted with all this and you're like, holy crud, we've got so much that I need to do. But I think if you look at it as a checklist, in a sense, of kind of going over, and the way he breaks it down one section at a time, I think if you take it one section at a time and just, okay, today we're going to be focusing on just the lauder, your food preps, and okay, what does he recommend for food preps, and just kind of going through it as a step-by-step list. And like I said, we went through a little thing made notes. Yeah, I'm a nerd, but
Well, and the first one you're going to is something that I found interesting. Have you ever heard the expression the golden horde or the golden mass for people exiting cities and pillaging the?
No, I had
haven't
never
heard it either until the first time I read it in there. That's not something you hear all the time.
I mean, I'd heard it a couple times because I used to read his survival blog.com.
How do you eat a whale or an elephant?
But it turns out that it comes from the Mongol rulers. Their what's the word that they used? The leaders of the Mongol royal family were called the Golden Family, and the people coming out to take your food might act like a Mongol army marching through the area.
Right, yeah.
And it's pretty much breaking down, and the beginning of it is a lot of philosophy and why he takes the approach that he does. And I think if you just look at it, that first chapter, and just taking it, the philosophies of it, you can apply that to however you want to prep, I think. If you're looking at it as an overall philosophical way of seeing prepping, why do we do the things we do? Why do we put back food? Why do we do solar? The different aspects of prepping. I think he has a really good philosophy of prepping at the beginning of the book that I really enjoyed, of that kind of talking about, like you said, the golden horde, the thin veneer, this kind of illusion of stability that can be broken quite quickly, and getting into how complacent people can be and not realizing how quickly things can stumble down, as we've seen in the last few minutes. How quickly.
Absolutely.
Tank says, I didn't say y'all could start without me. Listen, Tank.
Sorry, Tank.
Let me be clear.
I don't want to make somebody named Tank mad.
Let me be clear about something, dude. You run the Discord group. I run this. So anyway, Rick, what do you think about the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very good on showing why things could happen. And the possibility, and how a house of cards is really all our society is.
Sorry, Lois, are you serious? Did y'all see what she just wrote in chat? Holy crap. The grocery stores in Indianapolis are empty, and they are attacking people if they come out with food.
It's spreading. There's no doubt. And it just shows, like the book says, it doesn't take much. As Americans, we really are a sheltered people. We're a sheltered group. And most of the things we see in this kind of capacity, we're watching news from other countries. So when he said it doesn't take much to really disturb everything, our foundation, he was right. And we're seeing evidence of it now.
And I think that's what's really getting, especially new preppers, to really kind of that wake up call of it doesn't take much for them to realize how quickly things can devolve. And I hope this doesn't get as bad as some are predicting, but I do hope it's kind of a catalyst. And I've said this in other preps that I really hate that this is going on, but I hope that something good comes out of it in the sense of people wake up to how unstable things can be in a kind of daily type manner, how quickly things can devolve. I was just looking at a map from 2 weeks ago showing how many people were infected compared to today, where we had like almost nobody. I mean, I remember us looking when we did our first video on it, it was like maybe, 8 of them up in Seattle. It's all borders. It's just a few here and 2 there. I think just in our state, I think we're up to what, 20?
Something like that.
20 here, over 500 in New York, over 100 in Florida. I mean, it escalated quickly in a short amount of time. And you can tell that people are starting to realize that this is how quick things can devolve into people fighting over food, apparently, and attacking people over groceries. And that's crazy to me, Lois. Seriously, we're not quite there yet. Most people, which we haven't been out in days, though.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Tank, what? Oh, the task force, the coronavirus task force. Is that what you're talking about? Wow, 89 plus 8 waiting on results of Maine. Okay, Tank, EH was asking about your prepping Discord group. Why don't you throw some information her way in the comments? Well, this is interesting. I mean, we saw today he was talking about utilizing the National Guard and whatnot.
Yeah, but he didn't go into what capacity.
Yeah, he didn't say just how, at least while I was watching.
That one was more disturbing, is when they don't really go into really any details and there's just vague, we're going to utilize the National Guard, we're going to utilize FEMA. I'm like, in what capacity are you going to be utilizing the National Guard? We kind of want to know that side of things as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just say I like that in the book. If you want to, if you didn't have that kind of wake up call from, I don't see who wouldn't at this point. I've got people in my family who are far and beyond being preppers calling me and asking me for advice at this point, because, I'm kind of out and open about my prepping, not just from the YouTube channel, but they've known I've been into this for years, and I've gotten flack for it over the years, but they're kind of, okay, any advice now? I'm like, yeah, go back and watch all my YouTube channels. And
yeah, there you go. That's right.
You got 2 weeks to get caught up.
2 weeks, yeah.
Watch it while you're quarantined at this point. And so
good time to do it.
I'm going to tell you, go over and watch Ozarks videos, get him caught up, run through all of his hours, get him as many hours as you can. He needs 1,000 hours.
And subscribers. He needs subscribers.
Yeah. No, I'm, the last month it's probably tenfold what it's been before there. So
that's because everybody's freaking out.
Yeah, exactly. But you're right. At one point, there's still people out there who just don't believe this is anything. Even in the Facebook group, there's people say, "Oh, this is just the flu. That's all it is. It's all media driven." And while the media is pushing a bunch of it, you can't deny the numbers that are coming in and the disruptance and the distribution chain and everything. So, whether the corona is going to end up being horrible, I will tell you that the side effects of it is already causing problems.
Well, I always look back, just because it's something in recent memory, is Katrina. The hurricane itself wasn't always the problem. that wasn't the big catalyst that caused a lot of issues with people. It was the lack of action on part of the government. It was failed infrastructure. It was people's reliance on that veil, that veneer of stability that they had, when they're getting shipped to the Superdome, and that's, you're going to be taken care of there. And it was this idea that, okay, we're going to be taken care of. And the biggest problems didn't always arrive straight from the hurricane itself. It was the aftermath as well. It was people panicking, people looting, people violent towards each other, government's inaction, inability to be able to put in things into action. That it's not necessarily the natural disaster or the pandemic that is always the primary. I mean, not the primary, but the main problem that people have in a disaster. It's usually all the other craziness that comes after, when any kind of disruption to the system of things is interrupted in any way. And I think that's what Rawls was getting to in his book, is people just don't realize how fragile everything is, how fragile civility is. I mean, I saw one lady threatening to beat up another one just because she was buying too much chicken. She thought she was hoarding all the chicken. And I'm like, you don't know, she might, have an enormous family. She's probably buying just 2 days worth of chicken, but everybody's just freaking out over everything.
How are things up your way?
Well, you know what? My doctor put me in quarantine Wednesday, so I haven't been out much. But from what I'm understanding from my kids is that it's fairly normal right now.
Okay.
That there's not a lot of panic. There's still, no toilet paper, no hand sanitizer, and fresh meats are going quick.
Yeah.
And but other than that, it's pretty good. Now, I did talk to some Walmart people, and they said their biggest thing is going to be their distribution. That the labor workforce is taking off. Some are sick, and while there's months of food out there, right now they're trying to wonder how they're going to get it out. So if that does come to fruition, then you are going to have those riots. And like she was saying, what was that, Indianapolis? Mm-hmm. You probably will start seeing some of that here.
Lord, I hope not. I can see it, I guess, in larger towns. I guess us in smaller towns, we're kind of, we think that we're okay.
Our nearest town is about 5,500, and generally what I've been seeing, we're operating between 24 and 48 hours behind the rest of the country.
Now, one thing, I don't know if everybody else is experiencing this, our local Walmart, because that's our main place to get anything around here is our local Walmart. They started their hours. They close at 8:30 now and don't open up until 6. I don't know if that's the same everywhere else, but
yeah.
On one sense, I think it's a way of them just catching up on restocking, because as soon as they put things on the shelf, it's gone. Mm-hmm. And so they're just having trouble getting things on the shelf and restocking. But I don't know if you guys tell me in the chat if that's the same everywhere else.
It is here. Now they say they're cleaning the store, but if you go in the store, none of the workers are wearing gloves or anything else. So,
I do have to give ours credit, though. After each customer, they're wiping down everything with a sanitized rag.
Really?
Self-checkouts and that. I had a lady before I could go to right after another person. She came in right behind that person and was wiping down the self-checkout. And that was, Lord, we haven't been to Walmart in almost a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tank, try putting in the link and then 3 periods afterwards or something to make it not a link, and then it can be copied out and just have that deleted out.
They got Tony says they've got other grocery stores doing that as well. Can't speak for Walmart there though. Okay. Christina says it's the same in Paragould, Arkansas. I figured it was probably a Walmart policy implemented and not just, but we haven't been out of town to go see if anybody else was experiencing the same thing. But I mean, getting back to the book, I really did enjoy his breakdown and seeing now that in full color outside of this idea. You would have read even just a year ago, a new prepper read before they kind of woke up to things. and read it and go, oh, well, that wouldn't happen in my town. You know, we'd just come together and we'd be all right. And in some places, yeah, they may be in some parts coming together. But that's not going to be on a nationwide. That is not going to be every community. I mean, even our small town, I mean, people are really at each other's throats. I mean, as soon as it came out that we had our first confirmed cases, they were immediately on Facebook, stirring up fear, you know, asking and demanding that the people's information was released. And we're not going to do that here at all, because I mean, that's protecting people's, you know, privacy and their safety. They were wanting their private information. They wanted the person's name, where they work, the whole nine, where they've been. And I'm like, calm down. If you were exposed, you're going to know, but they're not going to release that person's information. But it was the vitriol, and it wasn't this outpouring of compassion that you would think. Like if you had heard somebody had been in a car accident, or if somebody had contracted cancer or something like that, immediately you would have seen on Facebook, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, thoughts and prayers, you know, all, you know, positive things across the board. With this one, it's got people so scared. I mean, it was vitriolic.
Yeah.
That's the only word that I could, and I just kind of sat back going, holy crud. Wow. Okay. And this is just from a small town. I can't imagine in a larger town, you know, you find out that somebody, you know, got, or just somewhere around you contracted it. They're almost getting mad at the person. And it's weird. I mean, it's really weird. And it's just, I've never seen that before. I mean, you don't get on to somebody that's contracted the flu. I mean,
well, I mean, I get it. You know, people are scared. People want to know what's going on, but you know, they don't have a right to know. Right. I mean, at this point in our town, it's kind of the gossip mill. 90% of the people who know the people know what's going on, know who it is, and it's going to be all over town within another 48 hours.
Yeah.
But getting into the book, the way I was sitting there talking about how it could really help somebody that's a new prepper. Yes, if you try reading it all at one time, like you were saying, it was overwhelming, and it absolutely can be. But I think breaking it down chapter by chapter, and that's what we've kind of do is, you know, this chapter is kind of more about bug out bags. And so if you're wanting to build a bug out bag, it's a good resource to kind of have a checklist as a starting point. And if you look at the book like that, then I think it's going to be a little bit easier to digest. And if you're just trying to take it all in at once, it's going to be overwhelming quick. But that's with a lot of prepping books.
Now, you're a bushcrafter. What did you think of the bug out bag, good bag lists and whatnot, or how would you change things to fit your skill set?
Yeah, and that's the thing about prepping. It's just lists catered to you. So for me, if I've got a bug out bag and I'm going to be out there, I've got actually several bags with me now. So I've got one catered to, okay, everything I need that I can make out of natural resources around me, I've got in one bag. So I've got my knives, I got my ropes, I've got everything that, because who wants to carry a chair into the woods, you know? Make one when you're there.
Yeah.
And especially if you're bugging out, just being able to make those things just makes it so much easier. So with me, I agree with a lot of his lists. And by the way, if you're a prepper, pick a chapter that you need to get better on and just go to that chapter. Because if you do this whole thing, you're going to be like, forget it. I'm never going to be prepared. You know?
Yeah.
But the bushcrafting, I'm going to have all my knives. I'm going to have my gloves. I'm going to have all my ropes. I even have duct tape, glue. I just got separate little things in each bags. So as a bushcrafter, it's completely different than, you know, maybe my get home bag or something like that.
Okay.
You got your utility belt.
That's pretty much, yes.
How much rope do you carry with you, or cordage?
I usually have about 300 feet.
300 feet. Okay.
Nice.
Now, are we talking like static line for repelling, or are we talking paracord?
Bye, David. Thanks for
We're
joining.
talking paracord, some fish braided line, things like that. Things that I can use to tie or secure. Because a lot, if it's the 550 paracord, it's good. But sometimes if you're carrying something heavy, like if you've made a net and you're carrying things, it can break. So I make sure that I've also got the other cords in there too.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else.
How many canteens do you carry with you, or do you? What do you do for water filtration?
Yeah, I usually take a life straw. I've got a life straw, and then I've got a filtered mug that I can just put in the stream and drink right out of. And really, I think those two is all I need. Now, if I'm camping or something like that, I'm going to get the big Sawyer bags and take those. But just walking in the woods, yeah, I'm worried about weight in that instance.
Have you looked at the Berkey? Not the Sawyer.
Yeah, he just said you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sawyer bags. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, is he carrying a Berkey water filter with him?
Yeah, I'm carrying those big. Yeah, I love the Sawyers. My kids have those when we camp. I mean, it's great just to hang those up and not have to worry about it. So I think everybody should have one.
Christina, sorry, go ahead.
Christina is asking, what kind of quick foods should we carry? I'm going to throw that one to you, and then I'll give my opinion.
Okay. Like if you're bugging out, if you're in the woods, or is that what she's asking here?
Yeah, stay bug out bag foods, quick foods.
I carry little MRE bars. Basically, that's what I do. Now, what I have done is I get some frozen meals or some freeze-dried meals, put them in baggies, and I'm starting to carry 8 or 9 of those, like chicken, rice, different things like that. All I've got to do is add boiled water, and you've got a really good meal, and it takes up no space. So if you can get those freeze-dried meals put in the baggies, you're set, really. And other than that, I just take fishing line and that to catch whatever I need.
There you go.
For us, I know in my bag, for quick food, we broke down a lot of the MREs that we had and separated the entrees and took out like the crackers and the peanut butters and things like that, the bars. We also had like your just regular like Cliff bars and things like that we throw in there. I did those, and they're super easy because they're smaller and they're compact than a big, large MRE. And so we broke down the MREs and then just took out the smaller stuff, put those in packs that are easy to grab. Like I said, a thing of peanut butter, just putting that in your mouth, boosting it real quick. And it's something you can just rip open and eat right away. Or you can have it on one of the crackers that'll give you a nice carb boost and keep you going. Oh, and the tuna packets. Those are my favorite because you can get the seasons ones now. They're not all just plain.
Gordy!
Hey, Gordy! The season packets I really enjoy. Like I said, they call the buffalo one and a Thai or a Thai one and a hot spicy. They've got so many different flavors that you can change it up quite a bit. You still got that MRE cracker you can put it on, and it's just super quick, super easy. And with them already kind of mylar'd and spaced down, I just put those little side pockets so I can just reach around and just grab one, tear one open, and just eat it right there.
Yeah.
I agree mostly. I will throw in like the quick oatmeal packages, and then when we stop, I'll make that. I'm gonna say one thing. I'll get to that in a minute. Well, the tinfoil wrapped survival bars that you will find at Walmart and whatnot, guys, be very careful with those. If you put them in your pack, they will rub. Suddenly you'll have a hole in the tinfoil, and if you don't realize it, it's gonna go rancid. I've had several friends lose about $20-$30 worth of those bars because they were sitting in the back of their car. Temperature was fine, but bouncing around on dirt roads, it wasn't good.
Gordy said trail mix. You can't go wrong with trail mix.
No, trail mix is good.
Okay, Christina, right now I don't know where you can find some MREs. I would look once all this settles down at local scratch and dent stores. Sometimes we have a couple in the area where if one box on a pallet gets damaged, they have to scrap the entire pallet. And so you'll get the Sapaco military grade, but not the actual military MREs for $5 a pack or $5 a box or so. It just depends on where you are and what you can get.
Usually we'd be able to go to like military surplus stores and we could get MREs no problem. We've gone to gun shows and managed to pick some up on sale that people were selling at gun shows for, we got those super cheap. Just because they need to get rid of them because they didn't want to carry them back at the end of the gun show. So we got them on sale pretty much at the end of it. I don't know with everything going on how easy even military surpluses could possibly get a hold of them. But they could put you maybe into touch with where they're able to get to them. And so you can kind of keep an eye out if they've got any more. But right now it's kind of hard. I don't know.
Go back through your preps. Look at what is water activated, like oats. You were talking about having wheat a little bit ago. Anything that's dried and dehydrated. Right now, you still have electricity. If you have a dehydrator and you have frozen fruit in your freezer, take it out, let it thaw, and then throw it in your dehydrator. And suddenly you've got a quick MRE style food to grab.
Lois put up beef jerky and hardtack, two things that are relatively easy to make even on your own. That's something that you can even vacuum seal and put into your own, kind of make your own MRE of vacuum sealing things like hardtack and beef jerky. Huh?
You were starting to say something, and I cut you off a minute ago.
I know. I was agreeing with you. I mean, right now you're not going to find the stuff on the shelves. You're not going to find it online. The best way is to make your own, like you were saying, and there's easy ways to do that if you've got the right things on hand. But you're not going to find them.
Yeah.
Question: do you ever field dress and let it naturally dry on a rack when you're out in the field?
I have. I used to live in Colorado. I did there quite a bit. Now I'm big into the smoke, letting it cure by smoking and having the old smoke teepee. And it was my plan to actually go out and film one of these. I just hadn't been able to. But I don't let it naturally dry. Air dry very much anymore. I just, you can run into a lot of issues with that. So if it's a big game, no, I'm going to do the preservation of the smoke and the covered and make sure it's right. But that's good. I know a lot of people who do that and they never have issues. I just tend to be more careful along those lines.
Better safe than sorry, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Take just put out there that Major Bill's, I'm guessing that's a military surplus store in Jonesboro, had some, I'm guessing he's talking about MREs the other day, but that was the other day. So there may be some still at military surplus stores that they haven't maybe sold out of. Most people are hitting your grocery stores right now, so they may not have gone to military surplus stores as of yet.
We're going to get an email from Major Bills tomorrow going, "You jerks." I had a crowd of 30.
30 people are watching? Okay. Like I said, that was the other day. Salvage stores. Yeah, that's where we usually get it at ours. We've got a local place called A to Z here. I don't know. No, it's not here.
Not the A to Z merchandise in Berryville. We're talking about the A to Z variety in Fort Smith.
It's a lot smaller. We've got some things in the Alma that are similar. But we can kind of catch it every now and then that they've got the civilian style MREs that we pick up for pretty cheap. And we do the same thing with those. We take them out, we look at them, we inspect them because I really don't trust scratch engine stores as much. And so we do take them out and kind of break them down and inspect, see what's good and what's bad.
What do you guys think of the MREs? I'm not a huge fan of them. I'm really not. As far as taste-wise, there's so much more I can prepare and enjoy. To me, those are the dire. The zombie apocalypse has been going on forever. I'm eating some then.
They are not our staple food either. We took them camping with us before just to try out and make the kids try them at least and figure out what it was tolerable. The breakfast stuff, not so bad. It's more, I guess, the convenience factor. If you're not able to stop and boil water or anything to rehydrate a meal, say, I love the Mountain House. I absolutely love Mountain House. There, it's wonderful, but it does take a while to cook those up. You have to boil the water, and then you have to pour it in the packet. You have to let it sit there for a while. And if you're on the move, that's not so much. I mean, if you're stopped and you're camping for the night, no problem. You've got all day or all evening when you're making camp to make that for everyone. My biggest thing was the MREs is the mobility factor of it. If you've got to keep moving, then having something that you don't necessarily have to cook up.
Right.
It's not going to be tasty. It's not going to be delicious. No. Some of them are not bad. I've had a few that are not terrible. I could eat. You know? Yeah.
It reminds me of that, that movie from Crocodile Dundee. Oh, you can live on it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
You're being alive.
Yeah. I like the calorie denseness of them. I won't lie. When I need calories, I'm on board.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, you make a joke about survival food. I'll admit, I like the eggs. When I didn't care what I was putting in my body, I grabbed the breakfast meals all the time. So there was that. But anymore, it gets a little old, especially like at some surplus stores where you can buy all the entrees you want individually, but they don't include the gum.
Right.
The gum.
Right.
You're aware of what the gum does, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I am.
Okay, in the comment section, who's aware of what the gum and the MRE does? I need just thumbs up.
that or we'll explain and tell a story on one of the viewers.
No. We'll get
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Can't be so
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
So a friend of mine joined the army. And if you're from the South,
I'm out.
You're used to going into like the old banks, especially put a quarter in the little gum slot, get a handful of chiclet gum, toss it in, chew it, go on. Well, this
Let's hope you have TV.
This friend of mine loved chiclets gum and would trade for the gum. MREs are calorie dense. MREs will plug you up.
Hey, Tommy.
Okay, Tony John. Yeah, like I said, MREs will plug you up. There is something put into the gum, probably sorbitol. Look it up.
Okay, the gum's a laxative.
The gum's a laxative.
Okay, let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Would trade for the gum. And he would take a handful of these things.
This friend did not know that the gum was a laxative.
And chew it all day long. 2 days into basic. They're on a march. All of a sudden, things move. He breaks formation, runs to a tree, drops trowel, and it explosively is handled.
In front of the entire platoon, mind you.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff.
Beware the MRE gum. Beware. Be aware and be prepared.
And to the story I told, I will give you $5 the next time I see you.
You just
in royalties.
He's probably watching. Yeah, he's probably watching. Okay, back to food. I did really enjoy. I don't know if you got to that part and really the deep larder.
The larder portion.
Larder portion.
No, actually, I skipped over that part.
You skipped over that.
I did. Well, I tried to pick things that I needed. Yeah.
I'm in charge of our pantry, and so this one's kind of near and dear to mine, is because we kind of have a division of labor in our house. I don't know if everybody does it that way, but I think if one person tries to do everything, you know, I know a little bit, so I can do some things that he can do, and he knows a little bit and do some things I do, but it can be overwhelming, just like trying to consume the whole book, trying to have, you know, all that knowledge in your head and keeping track of everything. I think division is good. Division of labor is really good. And I'm a big proponent. If you can group up, whether it's a partnership or if it's a mag or a tribe, however you want to do it, having people that are in charge of different aspects is important.
Thank you, Captain Bart.
It's all right. Better late than never, right? And so, but getting into his larder, pretty much food storage is what this whole chapter, and he dedicates a huge chapter. I mean, let me start. I mean, that's all talking about food. You know, that's talking about putting food back. And you could tell that he is passionate about that's going into gardens and livestock as well. But food, that's what that whole section of the book is, of what to store, how long it'll store, what stores better than other things. What I was really happy about is I did a whole video one time on the necessity of storing fats and making sure that you have plenty of fat stored for, we did the whole canned butter thing, but having long-term ways of producing and having fat in your, just to have it in your diet and having it in your long-term food storage. And I love that he included that in here as well. And I'm like, yes, fat is good. But he goes into many, great list, how long certain things last with your rice and your wheat and what kinds of rice versus what kinds of wheat. And if you want a good resource just to have on hand to skim through and, okay, I'm getting ready to go buy, 100 pounds of wheat. What kind of wheat do I need to get? What, how can I store it? How long is this going to last? And having a resource book. And I think that's why I really like this on here.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I can go on and on about food. I said, there's nothing better for a prepper mom to go into the pantry and it's all full and everything. All the shelves are all stocked. You just feel.
Oh yeah, you bet. Yeah, well, that's what survival boils down to. You're surviving so you can eat and drink. So,
exactly.
I mean, it's important to know different ways to procure your food, no doubt.
And that's why I try to pay attention, to your channel. I'm not a great survivalist. I could feed myself. I could keep myself going. But the stuff I've learned from you, like on the shelter making and the knots, that one video that I adored. I think I shared it multiple times on my Facebook page. You got the skills that I wish I had.
Well, I grew up doing that. I was always at my grandparents' farm, and he taught me the same things his grandpa taught him. So that is one thing that I think America is lacking in. Bushcraft is a very underutilized skill.
Yeah.
And if things do progress, and I hope they don't, at some point, you got to learn how. I mean, the things that people look at us for being crazy doing now was common sense to our grandparents. So. And they survived. They survived through a lot of stuff back in the day. So I'm willing to listen and try to improve my skills on that for sure.
Christina is asking, how many people should we have in a group? Is there such a thing as too many? Okay.
Can I get into one thing? It depends on what you mean by a group. I believe in concentric circles. Where you've got your family unit, and then out from that, say your tribe, the people that you're working with immediately, and you can call that a many of different things. And then we've got the MAG, mutual assistant groups. So it's smaller groups breaking up, helping each other. And so I don't think there's any limit on how many circles that can go out and how many groups that you are working with. But it's really dependent on who's going to be involved and not going to be a burden on the rest of the group. No, go ahead. All right, you go on off because you love talking about mags.
Yes and no. I see where Kim's going and I agree with her. But here's the deal. who are you going to buddy up with and shelter up with right now? I mean, suffice to say, let's say things go stupid in our town. The only people I'm taking to the cabin are those two children upstairs, her, maybe one or two other people here who have skills, and what we've discussed it before. But at the same point in time, the reason I'm willing to take them is they can provide food for themselves once they get there. I have not prepped food for them, and they have not prepped food for themselves at our location. Now I operate with, multiple groups up there. I have multiple family units that I'm very close friends with. And if they said, hey, Steve, come over and help me till my field, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But I'm not going to take my family to their doorstep because I have not put food on their property. I have not provided for myself. And that's where it comes down to. I don't care how many people you have in your group, as long as you have all worked together to prepare the land, the soil, goes in with the land.
Resources.
But resources. Now, having Rick here, I bring him in a heartbeat, no food pre-laid up, because he's got skills that I know I can use. I can point him at the two springs on the property, the pond, and go, by the way, there is trout in there. They're small because they eat each other, but there's trout in there. Bring them out. And, I won't be spending my day sitting there with a fishing pole or a trap, because you'll probably look at me and go, you're an idiot. And here's how you
No, I wouldn't do that. Well, I'm going to remember that if it does hit the fan. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Right.
Here.
GPS course in the comments. I mean,
yeah. But I agree kind of with both of you. I mean, groups are a slippery slope. You're only as strong as your weakest member. So are they going to provide more than the food they're taking? Are they going to, do they have a skill set that's worth you giving up some food or giving up some space? And when it comes down to it, are you better at the end of the day for them being there? So if the answer is no, then 3 people could be too many. The good thing about groups is security in numbers, different patrols. But if they're not pulling their own weight, or you've got to worry about them, you got to hold their hand through it. It can get out of hand quick. Yeah.
Christina, you worry about leaving some people behind. So do I, but I also have some people that I have no problem with leaving behind. And I'm going to admit that, if you've ever worked in any form of healthcare, you have a thing called triage, and you have to choose the ones you can save and the ones you can't save. And I'm sorry, but there are some people who I love to death, but I know that I could bring them to a location with 10 years worth of food, 10 years worth of water, and they would still choose to sit there and die. Hello, Texan.
Well, I agree. Like I said, I've got people that aren't necessarily prepping. And I mean, we're talking close people that are dear to my heart. And all I can do is I go, look, I've got enough food and stuff saved for me and my family. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to take food out of my kids' mouth to feed you. I can teach you.
You better be careful. There's a certain someone out there who's going to tell you that's not Christian.
I don't care. That's the problem. Is my primary concern is my immediate family. And that's the concentric circle thing, is they have got to be my primary concern. Is I have been for years diligently working and sacrificing quite a bit. We don't go and do fun stuff. We try to every now and then, but most of it's going to be, camping and fishing and things that don't cost a lot. And I've made the sacrifices over years so I can put back hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of supplies to make sure my family is taken care of. I'm sorry, I can't just sit there and go, well, yeah, sure, you're close to me, so let my kids go hungry while I feed you. I can't do that because my kids are my primary. Now, what I do is I talk to them, and I am open about my philosophies. I am open about making sure people are prepared. And like I said, even my own mother, I love her to death, but I told her, you're not coming to the cabin. You're not coming to the bug out location. You don't have anything there. I love you. Get stuff here. If this is where you're wanting to stick to, if you're wanting to stay at home, you're wanting to bug in.
I will give your mom credit, though. She started the garden. She started planting fruit trees. She
started canning food, putting some back. Not a terrible lot, but they don't. It's just her and her husband, so it's just the two of them. But they have already started putting back a small amount. They freeze food. They can. They do stuff like that, and they've got the garden going. And so they are doing small steps, and I hope it does develop into a little bit more. I told her how long rice and stuff would last. But I've gone into that other streams. But talking to her and be frank with people. Don't let them assume that they have a backup plan with you, because that's one thing that gets me so mad is if something goes wrong, we're going to come to your house. Be frank. I love you, but no, you're not.
Yeah. No. You see, my setup here is when they know I'm going to the woods. I got plenty of places to go in the woods. And I'm like, you can come with me, but you're building your own chairs. You're building your own shelter. You're going to catch and snare your own food, or you can watch me eat. So, yeah, that's one good thing about just doing bushcraft. You don't have to worry about that, But it's true. The first text messages I got when this all came over, hey, can we come over? Like, no, you cannot come over. So
I got a call from my sister asking if I could spare a square.
Yeah. No.
I have nothing for you. But it's not from lack of love of my immediate family.
Sure.
But and we're talking mom, sister, brother. I mean, we've talking people that are close to me, very close to me, then I have to be frank so they have a wake-up call in a sense. Because in the back of their mind, they're thinking, yeah, I probably should, but if something goes wrong, I'll stay with Rick. He's got things under control. And that's that mentality is what you've got to kind of yank out from underneath them is, no, you've got to take care of you and your own. You've got to take that into your own hands. And taking that kind of safety net out from underneath them could hopefully be the wake-up call that they need if you are worried about it.
Well, right now they've got that safety net taken out from them because they're quarantined.
Right, yeah.
But just it could be a wake-up call. I had my brother and my sister, hey, if you bug out, can you call us and let us know? And I'm like, maybe.
They forgot where the cabin is, right?
Yeah, I haven't sent them. I can send them cords though, but I'll send them cords to somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm bugging out. Here's my top secret plans.
Yeah.
No.
But it's a lot of people they know they should be doing something. And deep down, they know they should be doing something. They know that things can, especially right now. I hope people take this as a wake-up call. That having a couple of weeks of food is not a bad idea in your home. And I hope people take it to heart, really. And they're like, whew, glad that's over. Don't ever have to deal with that again. No, this is how quickly this sort of things can devolve.
And Rick, if you see something in the comments that you think you need to address, feel free to interrupt and go for it.
Yes, I can just talk and talk.
Yeah, well, my computer's messing up, so I'm on my phone. I'm actually not seeing the chat, so I'm just relying on you two on that.
Captain Barr said, quite honestly, the last 2 weeks should have been all the wake-up call any sane person would need. This is true, but I think there are some out there that it's going to take about 2 more weeks. And I mean, what was it the Arkansas governor was saying just today? We're looking at 8 weeks until this peaks or the flat lines or whatever.
Yeah, it's we're just getting started on some of this, so we still have it pretty relatively easy. I mean, yeah, there's a few name brand things out, and there's some things you can't get, but you don't have people starving or the worst thing I've seen so far is a person actually went and took hand sanitizer or Lysol out of a kid's hands, at the store, and it reminds me of Black Friday. But you make that then to where you don't have much food. What's going on in Indianapolis? That's when I think you're going to start getting those wake up calls. That's when it's really going to start. People be like, why didn't I listen the last week or the last 2 weeks, or the government's not taking care of me anymore? I got to do it myself.
And that's what it's going to take, is that kind of rose-colored glasses kind of have to be yanked off some people. And it's hard and it's difficult. And I hate people having to go through it. It's something, yes, we prepare for, but we don't wish on anybody at all. We say, hope for the best and prepare for the worst is because we don't want this sort of stuff to happen. We don't like the thought of this sort of stuff happening, but we know that it does. We have, how many records out there for things happening? I can't name you how many things that have happened that we've had to, I mean, from natural disasters to pandemics to all kinds of stuff that could happen. And people just need to wake up to, it's not a bad idea. You're not a crazy person. Like Christina said, people looked at her like she was crazy for years for putting food back.
Tony, John, I'm going to agree with you. The problem is that it has already kicked off. I'm going to be the idiot in the corner, though, and I'm going to say this is not the big one. I'm going to hedge that, yes, we're going to have major economic problems as the economy comes back when this is all done. I'm going to hedge that 6 to 8 weeks, possibly even 12, things might go back to normal. What I really am concerned about is this is going to set a precedent. This is going to, it'll wake some up. But if we look at, Governor Cuomo in New York, he's going to ticket and fine people if there are more than 7 people standing around on a street corner. He's going to close any business and fine anyone that is not an essential business. Badger, dry run is how you heard it put. I really do think that this may be a dry run. Now, I would say that another 2, 3, 4 years, maybe even 10, then we're in trouble. Keep in mind that the NDAA, the Patriot Act, was supposed to be repealed after 1 year.
That's what I was talking about the other day.
What about, I just blanked on the airport security. TSA was supposed to be disbanded after what, 2 years, 3 years? They're still
they never take back the ball.
Well, once a power has been delegated to someone, it's never let go. I mean, we still have emergency edicts from the 1960s from the Cuban Missile Crisis that are valid, that can be called in.
Social Security was, not Social Security, income tax. Income tax was supposed to be temporary.
So yes, I'm going to say this is going to be awful. I'm going to say that a large number of older people are going to have health issues and or pass on, and then suddenly they're going to be a great large influx of Democratic voters.
Should have held off on the census, huh?
Alrighty.
There's going to be problems.
A little dark humor for you.
And for the record, guys, I was an EMT in 2000. Okay. I've been in healthcare and emergency medicine and first responding since before 9/11. All right. I will be dark. Is it too late to make census jokes? Or too early?
No, I'm good.
Anyway, but that's really what bothers me about all this is not that this is it, but that it's going to see who bugs out, who doesn't bug out, who has the food. And it's going to task those of us who have prepped. By the way, hey, Rick, did you know this? The Norwegian government has forbidden its citizens to bug out and go to their cabins because they want them close to centralized resources in case they get sick, and they don't want them carrying it to the outlying regions.
Is that right? Yeah. No, thank you.
I know. That's the perfect time to bug out.
Yeah. Steve, you're right. I mean, you look at they're setting a precedence right now for what civil liberties we're willing to give up, and they're going to add. I mean, with the World Trade Center, the things we gave up, and they're just doing that right now, and people are giving up things. When you're scared and you're hungry, you're willing to give up things, and that is scary to me on the precedence this is setting, because with each disaster that happens, we just build upon that. And we're not too far from being, okay, yeah, you guys can't bug out. You guys can't do this. I own this now. That is the scariest thing.
That's another thing I worry about is with people have started commenting on people hoarding food. That's another one that's got me really concerned is people tossing around the terms like people are hoarding food. And I'm like, I'm not hoarding food. I've been collecting food for years for long-term food storage. I'm not hoarding anything. But that term being tossed around as derogatory even could set a precedent of, well, you're not allowed to hoard food anymore. I mean, that could easily happen.
And I'm going to step on some toes here.
You
never.
No.
Let me preface this from a purely linguistic form. There is a word that means happy. That is the meaning of the word, period. Has been since the Middle Ages. It started to be turned around and used for the homosexual community. It's now accepted. I see the same thing being done with the word hoarder, because right now it only means someone who walked into Walmart and bought 10 pallets of toilet paper and wouldn't share. How soon does it morph into those of you who bought 10 pallets of toilet paper over 10 years?
Do we get turned from preppers into hoarders? Do we get demonized? Do we get, instead of people turning to the prepper community as somebody to go in, oh, that's smart. That's a really great way of looking. We could be seen as the people hoarding all of the resources.
Yeah, well, we're the biggest threat to anything like that.
Yeah.
I heard somebody saying, actually, this was really good. It's like the Matrix. We're the ones who swallowed the pill. We are awake, people.
Yeah.
You've been red pilled.
I've been red pilled here.
Okie, but you're a chef, Okie.
I'm a collector of fine cuisines.
Okie is my cook. We went out with Bear on.
As soon as somebody didn't have any, we became hoarders. Yeah, Tang. Yeah.
When I went out with, we went out with Bear up in the Oklahoma building. Okie was our cook, and let me tell you something. That man can make
for like 100 people, like huge portions for everybody to eat. It was delicious.
I mean, we're talking chef quality on a camp stove.
Yeah,
that's somebody for a group right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
We tried to get them. Tony brought up basically equates to being called greedy and selfish rather than ready and good to go. Absolutely. And that's what I mean by setting a precedent is we've got to be really careful of watching how people may turn the narrative and twist the narrative to instead of, hey, look at these guys who have sacrificed for years. I know a lot of preppers that they don't go on family vacations. They don't have a ton amount of debt. They really focus on homesteading and skills and preparedness over years. Like I said, we've been doing this for 10 years or so. this is something we've been doing and getting ready for, is something like this to happen. We didn't know what, so we've kind of prepared for a little bit of everything. And instead of looking at us and going, hey, that's not a bad idea, people asking me if I've got toilet paper, and I'm like, I've had toilet paper for like forever. Yeah, I'm not running out anytime soon. It's fine. And
I was at Walmart the other day, and there was someone of like mind there, and someone popped off at him about the toilet paper situation. Aren't you going to at least grab a pack? And he looked at them and said, I have enough to restock this Walmart. Right.
Yeah.
We're friends.
Yeah,
no
we
doubt.
got on the last missions. It's been crazy. Sorry, Oki. We should have been there. Totally wish we would have been there. I'd rather be there than here. It's been a little crazy with work for me. I've been doing a lot of overtime here lately. That's one good thing is manufacturing. I can say from our side of things, manufacturing stuff has not slowed down at all. We still get a ton of business. I don't know about anybody else's sectors. I don't know what y'all guys do for a living, but has this impacted anybody's business sectors at all? Like I said, I'm in manufacturing. We do for large companies, Gardner Denver to Taylor. I mean, we're making forklift parts to stuff for oil rigs. I mean, and we're making pistons and all kinds of stuff constantly. So we haven't seen a slowdown. We've actually seen an uptick. They did separate we went from one shift, just day shift. They are splitting up our shifts into day and night, mainly because we've got a large crew and they were worried about so many people being in the building at one time. So temporarily we're split up into 2 shifts. So not as many people are in the building as much. So that's the only kind of like big change, I guess, on the manufacturing side, but we're still putting out the same amount of product. So
We'll see. TV
Sorry,
situation at Atwood's the other day. Clerk was super excited to tell us, and I just stone-faced blew him off. Nice job, Oki. Shall we move on to the medical section?
Chicken and Greek salad was amazing. Sorry, I'm reading the comments right quick. Hilarious. Okay. Yeah, getting past medical stuff. His next chapter was about medical. Medical's not my thing. I don't know. But it was giving a nice, good list of things to stock up on.
And this is the thing that I have always loved about Rawls' books. How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It, and Tools for Survival is another book. I'll try to find you a copy. It's all the old hand tools and how to use them, which you probably
he's a bushcrafter. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right up my alley there.
But we're talking like the old turn of the century hand drills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got one.
The only problem with those is one of those in your bag and you've got too much in there. They're so heavy. But
I've got a boy.
You got what?
I've got a teenage boy.
Oh, well, that's true. I
Once
guess I
you
got
get
a couple
out
of
the
those.
you don't have to feed him.
He's like a little mule.
Yeah, pack it up there for me. That's right.
No, most of it's for your homestead. If you're wanting to go more kind of off grid and not having a reliance on power tools, what to possibly stock up your homestead with. And that's what I'm more liking is if somebody is homesteading. Tools for survival is really what kind of tools are out there. What do they do? What tools do they replace? Like power tools do they replace?
But for the listeners, the thing that I like about this section is he gives lists like 20 1-inch Band-Aids cloth, 2 rolls 4.5-inch cling gauze, 1 small medical roll. He actually goes into what you should have and how many. And then you can mathematically go, okay, I've got 4 people in my group. Let me take this number times 4. And it's just that. Some of these sections, like I want to say it was this book, he got into rounds of ammunition per caliber, per year, per hunting ability.
Yeah, and that's what I think best with this book is it really gets you where it'll break it down instead of having to, oh, how many rounds of ammunition, how many gauze pads, how many things of rice do I need? It's a good set reference.
Do you carry when you're out, or do you rely on what you find? Or do you not want to answer that?
Both.
There you go.
Both, for sure. No, this book is a book of lists.
Yeah.
And it's really good because basically what prepping is your knowledge and skill set, and then it's your ability to plan and organize. And somebody like him doing the organization for you, saying, here's your list, check them off as you get them. That's really good for a lot of people out there. So I would recommend somebody getting this book if they need help or there's maybe something they hadn't thought of. He'll break it down for you and tell you why. So the book's good in that aspect.
Yeah, I have to say, I do like, it has helped us kind of increase our medical, because I don't know. I never know what to buy. I don't know what to get, what kind of mask to get, what kind of gauze to get. That's one thing that is not my forte, and he's not always with me when I'm shopping. And so having some kind of quick list that I can write down and know what to do and what to go over, and, oh, okay, this is what Ross says I need. So
Yeah, right.
And it's at least a good starting point for a lot of people.
Well, and I'm going to admit, I'm what I jokingly refer to as a retarded EMT. I retired from EMS a few years ago, but I can tell you what I want because I've got what was in the back of my ambulance. But then I'll turn around and, the back of the ambulance is the world's greatest Lego set. We would make stuff up and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So just give me about 10 wool blankets and I'll cut them down to what I need.
Right.
I was going to look.
Heck yeah.
What time are we looking at? Is it
It's 7:21.
7:21? We've been doing this for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. We do want to gripe about one section of this book, or Steve wants to gripe about
I will,
one.
but first I want to hear what Rick was about to say.
Sorry.
Was I about to say something?
You started to, and then we cut you off.
Well, that's a great thing about being old, is you forget really easy. So, yeah, no. I was going to say on the medical prepping, when I started out, really all I got was duct tape and super glue. And then I built from there.
That'll work.
So just get just start, and you'll start to see you'll want to add things to it because it just makes you feel better. Hey, my pile's growing.
Well, our biggest thing is we use our medical. Yeah, and we don't just shove it off to the side and that's our medical preps.
Mm-hmm.
Is we use it in our daily rotation. If the kids get hurt or something like that, we have what we need, and we know what we use a lot of. We know what works really well, what's kind of crummy, and we don't want to buy that anymore. I could probably restock the hospital, and they'd love me right now. Oh yeah, I don't have anything, Mr. Government Man. I have no mask here at all.
Actually, I think what they really want are the N95 masks, and we don't have any of those. I don't think. Maybe.
Yeah, me either.
I don't think things. I don't know what you're talking about. But see, that's another thing. That's what I mean. Okay, say hypothetically that there are medical supplies in my home. Hypothetically, because I wouldn't do that, that I have quite a few hypothetical medical supplies in my home. Do I have a moral obligation to take those to the hospital? Would I have a moral obligation to give those to the group? Not just the group, but I mean the community. Would that be something that you would feel, or that's my preps? I spent my money on those. Those are for my family. Would that be contrived or kind of turned into this selfish hoarder behavior? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Moral dilemma, Do you?
That's a tough one.
And that's the kind of stuff that I think of. Let's say hypothetically that I've got a lot.
What are you thinking, man?
My family is my first responsibility. Now if I'm in a place where I have an abundance and a surplus, and I think there's an end coming to what's going on, you bet I'm gonna do whatever I can to help my neighbor and help support the hospitals are that. But if there's no end in sight, as a parent, my number one job is to take what I have and make sure my kids make it through it. So, I think that's just something you're going to have to answer yourself. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I do know my answer is my kids are taken care of first.
Exactly. It's, it's that concentric circle to me. But I can see how something like that can be twisted in the public view and the public eye. Is, we went from the prepared to the selfish, and how that can be twisted by a narrative.
Sure.
Is, my main priority is my family. That hypothetical medical supplies may save my family. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but that's for them. It's something I've spent my personal money on and putting aside. That's for me.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, if I had surplus and, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's a tough moral dilemma, and you've got to really look at the ethics of the situation. I mean,
Christina, I kind of agree with you that I wouldn't take you to the hospital, keeping in mind one of my best friends works in surgery.
yeah,
And
I might
slip her one or two under the table.
Yeah. Taking care of individuals in those circles, possibly, somebody close to us that might need one.
And because she's an incredible chef who can cook a lot with nothing,
She's
I'm kidnapping her.
But yeah, you get into those moral dilemmas and a lot of people have different outtakes, and he gets into some of that in the book as well, which I really appreciated, is really getting into those and not making judgments on where anybody makes, because everybody's ethics are going to be different. Everybody's situations are going to be different. And, if you spent your last $5 getting that supplies ready and you're set and you're good to go, you've sacrificed a lot to get to that level of preparedness. Your responsibility is not the rest of the world. And that's my aspect. My first priority is my immediate family, and then out from there, my tribe, my mag, and out in concentric circles. And eventually that may include my community, but I have to take care of me and mine first. And that comes off to some people as you're being selfish.
Most preppers, most homesteaders, most people who consider themselves survivalists, money doesn't grow on trees for them.
Yeah.
Everything they have, it's sacrificed to get.
Yeah.
So, there's always going to be the people who think, these people are being selfish. These people are being hoarders. But if the shoe was reversed, it would be the same, because I know there's been times that I had to choose between, do I want to go out to dinner tonight, or do I want to have 5 meals prepped for this next week?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I chose the latter. So.
Exactly. And I know a lot. I mean, if you look on the search results for a lot of prepping stuff, it's how to prep on a budget. Yeah. That's probably one of the biggest things that are out there, is people want to be prepared, but
money's tight.
Yeah. I mean, people are, working 2 or 3 jobs, And
that kind of comes into the next.
He's on a gripe for a minute. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're coming into communications.
I'll set up my rice with my chops.
Thank you.
Okay. I had this at the beginning.
Rick, you and I you heard a little bit about my gripe earlier. First of all, the on the budget thing, guys. I got my technician ham license, got a 2-meter radio, started saving money. The next year I tested for my general class. I did nothing with my general class privileges. That entire year, the year I was a tech, I was saving money. The year I was a general, I was saving money. And then I tested for my extra class. And on that day, I had about $800-900, and I bought a used HF radio. So, yeah, budget. I mean, I knew what I wanted, and I worked my little tail end off for it. Now, having said that, we're getting into comms, and I'm just going to use the man's words himself. Plunging into the world of two-way radio communications and monitoring can seem daunting for newbie preppers. It is a technical field that has more than its share of jargon and acronyms. I suggest you team up with someone who is a licensed amateur ham operator and have that person walk you through the basics of the frequency bands, radio wave propagation, the various equipment, and the legalities. Yes, there are plenty of legalities. Stay legal. A ham who mentors a new ham is called an Elmer. This is true. You can find an Elmer through your local ham radio club affiliated with the American Radio Relay League. Elmers are almost always willing to help and quite generous with their time. The radio band designations can be confusing to folks who are newcomers to the shortwave listening and amateur radio worlds. Okay, he did bring up and amateur radio again. One major source of confusion for newbies is hearing hams mention things like on the 40-meter band or I was talking on 2 meters. For a useful chart from the ARRL that puts the band designations into an easy-to-grasp graphic format, go to, and he gives a website.
And that's it.
And that's pretty much it for ham. He'll talk about CB. He'll talk about walkie-talkies and shortwave receivers, field telephones even.
That is one drawback of this book. Don't go for it for ham radio.
That's crazy because he spent 40, 50 pages on things that you were like, okay, enough. You know, and ham radio, that's communication is huge. That is going to be one of the most desirable skills that you'll want somebody to have in your group. So that is disappointing in this book.
Now I'm going to tell you, back when all of that stuff was going on in the Baltic and in the Crimea area with Russia and whatnot, I happened to be on HF just cruising the bands. And you're supposed to speak English or Morse code, and you have a certain bandwidth that is for Morse code and the rest is for voice. And I heard some English with accents. I got to talking with this guy and he said, "Oh, I'm in Russia." And another guy says, "Well, I'm in Western Crimea." And I said, "Okay, guys, so what's the situation? What's really going on? What's going on?" And for the next hour, these two guys shouted back and forth about what their countries were doing to each other. But you got information from people on the ground.
Absolutely. I am getting so hungry, Kim.
Sorry.
Gordy, Steve and I have talked halfway across the state on
It's
HF.
just white rice
Yes,
and
we have.
chicken.
Good night. We're getting close to wrapping it up.
Okay, I'll stop. Mhm.
No, Steve, no, I agree. Communication. And again, that's why I would have you, if something happens there in your neck of the woods and you've got to come this way. You guys are always welcome. You got plenty of the skills that, you know, the medical, the first aid, the communication. I just can't see going long term without those things.
Yeah.
You need to, even if it's just from a sanity standpoint, you've got to have that. So
Let me have that real quick. I think I've come up with a way. No, not your coffee, you goofy. The book.
The book?
All right, we didn't put this in the description, but we're going to go back through. Can we go back through the live chat later?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we go back through and say who's going to get a copy? By who's commented so far?
So you want me to go back through now or later?
Can we go through later?
Yeah,
And just announce it later?
We can announce
Or
it
we
as
can
a
announce it
separate
now?
video later. Why don't we do that? Because a few have already left. What
Okay.
we'll do is we'll do a separate video. We'll go through the comments.
Okay, because what we're wanting to do is actually give away a copy of How to Survive the End of the World as You Know It to anybody that comments. So if you're sitting back and you're watching, and that includes after it gets posted, we'll go back through those comments as well. After, if you can't join us live, the comments once it goes on YouTube as well. We'll go back through the live chat and as well as what's down below. Okay, Oki says not him. He's already got it. So yeah, tell me if you've already got the book. But you could give it to somebody who you
Not
want-
it. I tore my knife to get mine ready. Christina, real quick. Are you a ham operator? Are you licensed already?
No, she says I need to get a ham radio.
A ham radio.
Oh, a ham radio. I don't know. Okay.
Let me know. Message me through Facebook, and if you're not, we'll see if we can't find you a club to get some mentoring and whatnot. I had someone actually comment on one of the previous videos. You know, I'm here in Texas, and I ended up making a couple of phone calls and got him a club that was
I bought one
30 minutes away from his house.
I bought one at the start of the live stream. You're welcome, Ross. I better get some royalties.
Okay, so
Okay, sounds great.
all right, yeah, she'll message you then.
Okay, so if you want a copy, or if you don't want the copy, if you know somebody you could give it to, even if you already have your own copy, you know, somebody that you may be wanting to get into this lifestyle. It's a lot to handle, but it has got some really good references on a lot of different things. So let me know in the comments if you want it, and we'll go back through it and exclude Okie and
Badger.
And Badger, yeah.
all you guys that already bought one. I'm glad y'all bought one because it is a good reference book. It is a really good reference book. We had an extra copy, and we wanted to, since we were doing a review, actually give away a copy of it. And so we'll go back through the comments of everything and write down everybody's names, and we'll make an announcement video probably tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll make an announcement video tomorrow. Just a quick short video.
Christina would love a copy, but someone else needs it. Give it to them. See that nursing mindset. Okay, congratulations,
Aw.
Christina. Thank you, but you don't have it, so you're in the drawing. Deal with
Exactly.
it. Our next section is home security.
I love home security. Not really. I hate it. I like the idea of home security. I just,
He gets into not being caught off guard, levels of defense, like a chain link fence, you know, moving all the way back to rose bushes in front of your windows.
that's not a bad idea.
And he even goes into the different types of guns for a retreat, long, short, combination, shotguns, etc. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I could discuss this all night long.
That's a whole nother video.
Free Spirit says, get a huge Roddy. I've
You
got
have
a wolf.
Yeah.
What are some things that you would do for your home or for camp to increase your security?
That's something I've always wondered. If you're going to be in the woods and you're going to camp out, how would you make sure that your perimeter is secure?
Yeah, well, you got to have three levels. I mean, that usually what I do, and what I've done before, especially when I've been out elk hunting in Colorado for extended periods of times, I've got trip wires along the whole outer, you know, and they're civilian grade flashbangs. So that's going to scare whoever away. It's going to disorient them, and it's going to get you up. But what I do is I start with that, and then I have the silent alarms. It'll come and beep on something I have on me. I've got different manholes, open manholes, so people are like, what are these people getting into? These guys know what they're doing. I mean, how many people are in this group? So I definitely have 3 or 4 levels of the security, and most of them's just alarming to alarm me and to alarm them. But yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do camping. Of course, I'm always carrying. Now, I don't have a wolf, you know, or a Roddy.
I have a corgi.
But,
she's great too. A little corgi.
oh yeah. those things right there are loud now.
I thought that was the girl child's dog.
Yeah, she's turned it into mine. She loves me. I give her snacks. Her loyalties can be bought. I hope the shooter doesn't know that.
Rick, would you like to have a traditional Chinese dinner someday?
You can't cook
would.
corgi.
I sure would.
Okay.
No, you can't cook corgi.
I don't know.
I sure would.
Look at Rick. So terrible. Roddies are awesome, absolutely. But I've also found we've had Great Pyrenees, we've had Husky mixes, we've had. Sorry, he's getting onto the cat, he's trying to steal my chicken. Cats are terrible; they'll just hang out with the intruder. We've had pit bull mixes. We've had Roddy mixes. It was the weirdest combination in the entire world, but she was technically a Roddy mix.
Yes.
Mixed with a beagle.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking
It's terrible.
this thing looked pure blood rot in a beagle size.
Oh boy. Yeah, animals are great. And there's other things you can do that you can't really do if it's not an end of the world situation, It's just illegal to do now. But that's the great thing about bushcrafting. You can make any kind of trap that's not just for, animals. It's for people. So
it works for all sides.
that's a whole different subject.
The pig.
Yeah. I was looking for the pig.
Wild boar season is all the time.
Right. It's year round here.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I guess that's my biggest, because we're wanting to do a long term. Hopefully, my next time I get vacation, I'm wanting to take some time to go back,
Florida,
not just hiking, but actually backpacking for a couple of days on long trails. And I'm working on my back. I got my backpack, and hopefully, I'm going to do a video when I get everything that I want to put in it. I'm on the hunt, if anybody knows, of a small one-person tent that can be easily transported in a backpack.
make your own. Make your own.
No. I don't want to make my own. I want something easy my first trip.
That's true.
This will be my first time. Once I get a little bit, I might try doing both, of having a backup plan, just in case my park tent is crud. And I'm all about redundancy.
Oh yeah.
But no, I'm working on that and a few other things to trying to find a small compact sleeping bag, but I'm trying to find things that are smaller, compact, that I can pack and actually get. I got a large backpacker's backpack, and I'm hopefully going to get that and start testing it out to make into my bug out bag, but something that's already well used. I know where everything's at. I've hiked with it before. I've worked with it before, and start actually using it, going on trails for days at a time. And that's kind of my plan. And
warning, it's very addictive.
I know, I've heard,
yeah.
and that's probably what I'm more concerned about, is I'm not going to be home anymore.
Yeah. Are you smiling or frowning, Steve? I can't tell.
I already work from home. I cook. I clean. Bye.
Bye.
Take the kids with you.
Hank, I agree. I was going to have a hammock in there as well, hopefully for days. But I was going to look for the one with the mosquito netting, of course, because we do live in the South, and they will carry me off at night if I don't have mosquito netting. And so...
Laughing gas on tripwires layered with pie catapults. That would work, Okie. Actually,
Oh yeah.
A friend of mine has those underground grass watering things built into his yard. I wanted to hook that up to gasoline and use tracer rounds. Just me.
That would be hilarious. Oh my. Yeah. Now the chat's coming up, so now I'm able to follow along in this.
Well, that's good. What, almost 2 hours now?
Yeah, just 2 hours in. 2 hours later.
Oh, it has been 2 hours though. Lord, we're going to probably wrap this up. Don't forget to put something in the comment section if you would like a copy, because I do find it a good resource. But yeah, to say, hopefully everybody is staying nice and calm. Everybody's good to go. We're not feeding into everybody else's crazy panics. But yeah, I guess the biggest thing right now is, because we're on quarantine, we're going to probably doing a lot of prepping around here at the house, working on projects. We've said that in other videos. But yeah, to say, that's what we're going to be doing. Are you going to be doing anything special? Any preps that you're working on right now while you're kind of stuck at home?
I've got a lot of those preps done. What I'm doing right now is I'm just gaining in some knowledge, learning on some different bushcrafting techniques I'm trying to master that I haven't got around to yet. I've been watching a lot of videos on those and actually been trying some different things in the house with that, with different paracord techniques and that. So I'm using this time to try to grow a little bit and some skill.
You can send him a link to that Scottish bushcrafter that we watch.
Fandobidadi.
Yeah, I can't say it because he's
Yeah.
got a very, very Gaelic name. But he's a guy in Scotland and he has a YouTube channel. Excellent bushcrafter, but he also incorporates history of Scotland in it as well,
With it.
of what they would do.
This is bushcrafting in a kilt.
Yeah, bushcrafting in it.
Oh,
So I mean,
I will never do that. I will never do that.
I don't know. He had like 20 different uses for that kilt. It was awesome.
mean, yeah.
Is that right?
A tent
How
out
to
of
make a
it,
tent,
a poncho. It was
poncho.
crazy. I'm like, I totally want a kilt now. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be special to pull that off. I don't think I could do that.
I could do it. I could do it. I could totally pull off a
I
kilt.
don't think I could.
I don't know. We'll just leave it there.
See how it is.
But he's great. So I don't know. I've got to find the link. I might see about putting it in the description. On top of that, we're going to put a link in the description below to Ozarks channel, Ozarks Prepared. Please go by if y'all can and like and subscribe and watch his channel because you do put out some really cool info with bushcrafting. You're making Steve get out there and whittle. And
Okay.
Tony John, yes. Ozarks Prepared, yes.
he has a YouTube channel, so please do subscribe. He is trying to grow his channel and he's putting out really good content, but he's still trying to get up there. So we need to give him all the love and support that we can. So I hope this does help because we like you seeing your content. So keep putting it out there. And I think we're going to go ahead and probably wrap it up. Is there anything else you want to add about what you've been doing on the channel? Anything to look forward to?
No, I've got a lot of things I have planned coming out. A lot of collabs, a lot of in the woods videos, which I'm excited to get back to. So it's gonna right now it's been 90% indoors, which I hate, but unfortunately that was the position I've been put in. But we're about to get to the 90% outdoors. So
I know it's supposed to be better.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
As soon as this thing tapers down, we're gonna head out.
Yeah.
I don't care EH. I want a kilt. I don't care if it's for men. A little known history fact. We're going to end this on a history fact. Do you know why it's called a kilt?
I do not.
Because they kilt everybody that called it a skirt. Mm.
That is something right there. Oh,
You can tell I knew it was coming.
yeah, he knew what was coming. He started getting that face a good 5 seconds before. He's like, oh.
He does the dad jokes to me, so I'm going to do the mom jokes right back. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks you to everybody who has joined us on the live stream. Please, and it they're going by. Okay, if y'all can hear it, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, we're back. Oh, where'd you go?
Oh, there we go. It started going crazy.
Yeah.
I thought we were being.
We'll hopefully announce the winner by tomorrow. We'll go back through the comments. And all right, guys, we love you. It's been almost 2 hours, so we're going to get off of here.
Check out Rick's channel.
Definitely. And thank y'all so much for joining us. You want to give us shalom because all your brothers are saying shalom.
Shalom, my brothers.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank
Anytime.
you. We'll talk to you later.
I'll call you in a minute.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining.